Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Migrant Tribe. Stories from our journey down under. And as always, together with me on this episode are the other members of the tribe. We have a Jasmine, and there's a Joey down there, and of course,
Hello.
John,
Hi, good evening.
and yours truly, Joseph. Okay, so today we have another episode that I'm sure most of migrants have had to go through. Um, and that is building relationships, especially if you probably migrated here as an adult and you probably would have to forego all the relationships, all the acquaintances that you'd had back home and pretty much start fresh. And so our topic for today is building relationships, or as we call it in our group, building your tribe. So again, this is episode 15, Migrant Tribe, Stories from Our Journey Down Under, building relationships. So okay, on a personal note, before I start, um, I kind of struggle to, I have difficulty kind of starting building relationships because I'm consider myself to be an introvert. Let's say during parties or social gatherings, um, I can, I can talk to people. I can make conversation, but it kind of really takes a lot out of me. Um, Instead, I prefer to just talk to like two or three of my closest friends, and just like what we're doing now. No one listening. Just the three of us. So that's kind of like what I prefer to do more. But having said that, uh, building relationships is pretty essential. Like what they say, no man is an island. So we really need the tribe to help you out. So for my part, I'll just mention like three significant um, instances where kind of relationship kind of uh, played very important. Okay, number one, since I've arrived here in Australia, I've had two jobs that were actually referred to me by friends or acquaintances. Okay, and of course, I'm very grateful that they told me about the job. That otherwise I wouldn't have known about it if it weren't for them. And I think I did well. There's this one job was a previous job, and the current job I am right now was also referred to me, but by a close friend. So again, I'm pretty grateful that they chose me, and so far I'm doing well. Okay, so that's one. I was able to get jobs because of the relationships I was able to nurture. Number two, through a close and very dear friend who I've known uh, years, even back home. I was able to start a new business venture. Okay, that friend of mine owns a company, and I was able to get the exclusive rights to distribute the product here in Australia. I won't mention anything about the product for now, but definitely in future episodes I will mention um, that product. But again, because of that relationship, I was able to, you know, this opportunity for this business venture. And again, I'm pretty appreciative of that. And finally, also third, um, the importance also of relationship within the community, especially during times of uh, trouble or when things are kind of down. And most recently, my mother passed away over a month ago, and it was through the help and prayers of the community. Um, I was able to get through it, especially because she passed away overseas, and there was no way for me to be there to see her off and be with my other siblings. Again, I have my relationship with my community to be again grateful for. So there, those are probably just a few of some of the things that the importance of how relationships uh, is in our lives are. Okay, so would like to follow Jasmine?
Yeah, thanks for that. And that's interesting for a salesperson like you to be introvert, huh? On a side note,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
Shh, it's our secret.
push. Okay, no, it's good. I guess my take on this topic is two things. The two sides of it. So building relationships. So um, creating a big network is important. Depends on your goals, aspirations, um, and of course your personality, your confidence about it. So I truly believe in connections, and I truly believe that it can be very powerful in terms of achieving your goals and being open to connect with people in various ways, especially being in Australia as migrant and very diverse city in Melbourne. I think it's very important. And being here 15 years, I guess I'm lucky to be in a role being in business development and oriented with these kinds of very diverse businesses and contact people and offices. And so I guess that is a good starting point for me at the time. I have always been extrovert, and I'm from student council to being student leader to being public speaker. So I'm okay. I'm okay with people in general, but connection is different. Connecting with people is another thing. So I guess that's important. On the other note, what I wanted to say in relation to that topic is maybe as you evolve as a human being and your life stories and challenges, and as you scale up, my lesson right now is I try to make my circle as small as it can be, but it's got more meaningful connections. So I try to be in a circle that's more empowering for me, because that's more important than in the early ages of, you're more hyped up, you're more open, you're more out there, something like that. So now it has changed. I don't know, with age, experiences, and priorities and time management, I opted to be in a smaller circle of still meaningful connections. So that's my take on that. And I guess if you're depends on the life stage where you are. If you're settling and starting, it's good to connect and be out there and learn a lot as much as you can with everyone you meet, even in at work. And then when you find your pace and stability, then you can make that decision with where and who to spend time with. So it works like that. So whether you're introvert or extrovert or whatever stage you are, I guess that's important to always stop and think and assess things. So yeah.
Okay, well said, well said. So, um, safe to say quality now over quantity.
Yeah, kasama, and you're included.
Oops.
Wow.
Privilege.
Oh,
Privilege.
so
So
touched. Anyway, anyway,
get a
yep,
certificate.
yes, yes. Again, thank you again, Jasmine. So now I'd like to hear from another tribes member, Joey. Joey.
Yes.
What can you say?
Well, building a relationship. I'd be honest. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I think I'm also one of the few people out there that have some challenges with that. But through time, we have to understand our weaknesses or opportunities. So I've learned to actually use this three simple words, just the three L's I call them:
Okay, 3 year. Okay, okay. Let me write that down.
listen, learn, and limitless. So,
Mm.
because when you listen to someone, or I mean, start a relationship with someone, let's say you're part of a business networking group, right? Most oftentimes everyone would like to talk about themselves, right?
Okay.
But if you would actually going to talk about yourself, that person would not feel important how they are or what they feel about themselves. So giving them space, giving them opportunity first to actually listen, uh, and then you eventually seek to learn what this person can actually bring out to you, or can bring that they have, can bring on the table. And from there, the limitless possibility that you can collaborate and you could further progress the relationship. Um, I would say that I apply. Um, I mean, we have a selective listening skills, shall I
Mm-hmm.
say? I mean,
Yep.
every person would have that. If we don't feel that the language, or just the um, uh, context that we're hearing is not to the wavelength that we want, um, that already shuts down the idea. But yeah, I try to listen, learn, and make sure I mean, let that limit out of the window.
Okay.
So I mean,
Thank you.
that's for me.
Thank you, Joey. You have a very lovely look on life. That's another three
Thank
L.
you.
Anyway,
That's 3 L's.
Yeah.
no, you kind of reminded me about something. Um,
Nagbaon.
when you started off with the first L, which is listen,
Mm.
people underestimate the power of listening. Uh, when doing presentations, when negotiating, people think that it's all about talking about you, about what you want. No, it's really about listening. And and what they say, it says like it should be 90% listening and only 10%, something like that, 10% where you actually talk. And those are they call the effective uh, means of communication. Well
And
done,
you
Joey.
even mentioned about negotiation.
Yep.
Actually, there's a book that I've listened, which is audiobook that I listened. It was about never split the
Never
difference.
split the tip.
Never
Yes.
quit.
I forgot the author, but
He
it's
used to
about,
be, I think, with the FBI, something like that. I forgot his name
yes,
as well. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
and he was able to apply that even in business negotiation. So if effectively, really just listen, learn, and don't limit the opportunity that you can build for that relationship. So that's for me.
Yeah. 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 So get that book. Okay. So we are not making anything from that. We're not plugging it. We're not yet. Soon, maybe. Okay. So yeah, that book.
We can share
Good
the
thing you
link on the
mentioned.
page.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And thank you, Joey. And last but not the least, for today's episode, I'd like to hear from Mr. John.
Yeah, good evening again. I'll start to recap things that I heard. I'll start with Joey. Hopefully, I listened to all of you, and I'm learning things, new ones, and sometimes a reiteration of what I've heard and said as well in the past. But
Mm.
still, as a human being and as a person that never tires in learning, I love our conversation as always, because even though we are members of this tribe, we are learning from each other as sort of a quid pro quo. And also, out of this, we have a limitless collaboration or working together in the future as there's always a possibility for that. And also in building relationship, as what I heard from Jasmine, if you are an extrovert from the very beginning, then you cast your net wide open by having a bigger network. And as you grow older, and she said, as you evolve, you learn to be selective and try to make your circle smaller, but having a meaningful relationship. And that's a good learning as well for tonight. And also with Joseph, who is an introvert, as I experienced by myself. But as a person, no doubt that once you start conversing with him or start making connection with him, you cannot let go of the start of that connection, and it will grow into something beautiful and something meaningful as well. Of which I am having a relationship with you as well, Bro Joseph. And
Oh,
on my part, my take is building a relationship is about ACT, as in an acronym, ACT. So in order to have a good relationship, you need to present yourself with all authenticity. Meaning to say, once you communicate with a person, you present your natural self, because one way or the other side of the communication line may realize or may find something that is not normal, that is not natural, and it will turn out against your favor, because you are not authentic, and it seems that you're somebody else or someone else you are not, which is not a good start in building a relationship. And also by uh, uh, having that, you need to connect. So as communication is, there's always the source and the receiver of um, the message. So it's a two-way process. So you need to communicate. It's not only that you give some information to someone, or that someone is just receiving end of the information. It should be a conversation or a dialogue, so that the relationship will become meaningful as well, as either it be in the home situation or in a business negotiation, as long as there is a good way of communication, then
mhm.
the message can be conveyed, received, processed, and maybe something good will come out of it. And the last thing is trust. Once you start communicating, and once the other person sees that you're authentic, regardless of um, what you'll be doing later, that person, once he or she has your trust, the person will support you or give you some advice, or in whatever way it will add up to the value that you would like to give, either to your personal development, to your family, to the community, or even with business. And as I've learned from our blog, the Migrant Tribe, I think all these three are present. And I know it's evolving, but I do believe that we can make these three simple things part of our daily lives as well, either in a personal, professional, or business lives. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well said. Thank you, John, and thank you to Jasmine and Joey. And again, and thank you to all our viewers. Continue watching Migrant Tribe. We're out every uh, Tuesdays, and we come up with episodes, and we try to be as interesting as possible and as relevant to everyone. And watch out, we'll be having a special event. We'll give you details in the succeeding weeks leading up to this event. And I guess if nothing else, thank you, and please subscribe to our channel. Bye.
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 Hi.
Have a nice evening.